They say the first step in solving any problem is first admitting that you have a problem. And I might have just a little bit of a problem. In fact, it's probably just gonna be way easier if I show you. So give me 1 second. Send help.
Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nerf Report. Today's show is going to be a fun one because on my journey to become the ultimate cloud gamer, I am constantly trying to push cloud gaming to its limits. And on that journey, we've gotten Stadia to run on terrible hotel Wi-Fi. We got Stadia to run on the Oculus Quest headset. We flew to an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and got Google Stadia to run there as well. But for today's show, we are going to put Google Stadia up to its biggest test yet.
Can Google Stadia run on the cheapest streaming stick that I can get my hands on?
And of course, we are talking about none other than Walmart's On Full HD streaming stick, which I bought for the grand total of $16.11 with tax. Without tax, it's $14.88. So $14.88. Can it run Google Stadia? And I think the importance of this video is pretty straightforward. I mean, if I can get Google Stadia to run on this device, then it definitely raises the question of, well, actually, give me 1 second. What was the point of spending all this money on all of this technology? And I want to point out, it's not like I regret buying all of that technology. This is just a question that, well, quite frankly, my wife asked me when I bought this $14 streaming stick, and I was like, hey, honey, I want to buy this new streaming stick. And she was like,
don't you already have a streaming stick?
well, no, this one's $14 and it could run Google Stadia.
Well, if that runs Google Stadia, then what's the point of everything else you've bought? Why not just buy the $14 stick to begin with?
And Google, look, she's not attacking you. She's just really pregnant. 8 months pregnant, to be specific. And at this stage, you don't question a pregnant woman. You just, when she says jump, you jump. When she says,
ask Google why they charged you $140 for a streaming stick that you bought at Walmart for $15.
you ask Google, why'd you sell me a streaming stick for $140? Now, for the question of will it run Google Stadia, of course we won't know until we open the box, but judging by the box, I have to say I am extremely confident because it runs on Android TV, and Google Stadia typically runs on anything that has Android TV, but there's only one way to figure it out. So without further ado, let's open this baby up. All right, let's open up this on Android TV watch stick. I'm interested to find out what's on the inside. All right, and here we go. We got a on 2K streaming stick. Okay, so we're stuck at 2K. I know how crazy people get with the 4K. Hopefully 2K will be fine for this video. Just for the time being, let's change the setting to 720p. Okay, perfect. All right, so out of the box, we've got our on stick and we've got our controller, which looks extremely similar to a Chromecast. But interestingly enough, we might have to zoom in or focus right on that. That is the Google Assistant logo. So this might be the easiest video that we've had to make. All right, so we have everything out of the box. We've got our on controller. We got a kind of a dongle, some USB cables, our stick, which has an HDMI. Yeah, and a USB port. So I'm assuming that that USB port is going to be for, I have no idea what that's going to be for. Oh, wow. Actually, cool feature here. So a lot of times when you wall mount your televisions, it's hard to get this dongle back there. So what On did, and this is actually really clever, they created an extender wire. So I can basically plug my On stick right into there, plug this cable in, and that way I don't have to stick my hand back in and kind of, you know, struggle here. I can actually pre-plug it. Really cool feature. Totally not necessary, but really cool. So if I'm doing this correctly, I'm taking my cable, plugging it into here. And then on this end, we're gonna take our USB, plug it into the power port. And I guess we plug that in now. And then as far as the remote control goes, I mean, we got YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, got the Google Assistant button, and you know, it looks extremely similar to, give me 1 second. All right, for comparison, here is the on remote control right next to a Roku remote, and then here is the on remote right next to the brand new Google TV remote control. But I think at this point, we're ready to go, so let's get this thing plugged in. Now for this experiment, we'll be plugging our on-stick into my Insignia Fire TV, as one, it's small enough to fit on this table, and two, I really don't feel like detaching any of my pre-existing TVs from their wall mounts. So while yes, technically we will be capped out at 1080p, for the sake of this video, let's just deal with it. Out of the box, your on streaming stick will need a few updates and patches. However, once you connect this device to the Wi-Fi, it pretty much takes care of all of that by itself. And once the device is updated, you'll come to the home screen, which has a search bar at the top of the screen where you can either use your Google Assistant to search, or you can type what you're looking for into the digital keyboard. And sure enough, there it was. Google Stadia, ready to be downloaded and installed on my $14 on streaming stick. Now, for the sake of transparency, I do want to point out that there is definitely a noticeable difference between the Chromecast with Google TV and this on streaming stick. At times, this on device feels kind of sluggish compared to the Google TV. However, if you can get past that, this device is actually pretty sick. So now that Stadia has been installed on the device, I felt like it was time to jump into some games. And honestly, I was blown away by how smooth that these games felt. Granted, yes, they were not running in 4K, but I was still able to get games like Madden, Far Cry 6, NBA 2K20, and Hello Neighbor to stream to this $14 device that is somehow communicating well enough to a server base based hundreds of miles away from my house. And as far as responsiveness goes, I was really impressed with this as well. In fact, for this video, I went ahead and did the standard Hello Neighbor jump test just to show you how well the streaming worked. And I also did a similar test with Ark Survival Evolved, and for the most part, the game felt really great. And on the topic of controllers, you can either connect your controller via Bluetooth to the on stick, or using a Stadia smart controller, you can connect your controller to the Wi-Fi and play games that way. Now, I definitely think it's worth pointing out that there is a big difference in load times on Stadia when using the on stick. And I'm kind of chalking this up to the fact that maybe the Chromecast with Google TV is beefier, or it's just been optimized better, but I can't stress this enough. The games still ran really well. It was just navigating the menus that felt like they needed some work. And at the end of the day, I left feeling really impressed, not just by Stadia, but also by the fact that I was able to stream games to this $14 streaming stick. Like, just from a cost perspective alone, this might be one of the best streaming sticks for Google Stadia on the market today. And I can't help but look at this as like, man, this would make a great Christmas gift for the gamer in your life. Like, for $14, you are essentially giving someone the equivalent of a next-gen console that they can use their pre-existing controllers with. That is pretty dope. So to answer the question, can Google Stadia run on a $14 streaming stick? Well, the answer to that is yes. And I leave this video having to chalk up a giant W for cloud gaming as a whole, because quite frankly, after experiencing this, I don't think that there's anything that cloud gaming can't do. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.